What's up, everybody? My name is Tucker. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 7 NBA players that I just can't give up on. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like rating on it. Check out my socials at the top of the screen, and let me know what players in the NBA you still just can't give up on. Let's go ahead and get started. I begin the list with one that I would assume is going to be relatively popular, and it's Malik Monk. I'm pretty sure he's been on this list when I've made it in the past, but now he's gone from the team that drafted him to a new team with the Lakers. And I still just believe that Malik Monk can be a very, very good NBA basketball player. When he came into the league out of Kentucky, he had some crazy scoring performances. He had streaky shooting. He had unbelievable talent and ability, athleticism, body control, fluidity, everything you would want out of a scoring two guard in the league. And I thought worst case, he was going to be a really good sixth man. And for a variety of different reasons, he just wasn't able to put it together in Charlotte. He had moments, he had flashes, but was never able to be a consistent player. And now he's going to get that opportunity on a Lakers team that is going to need the spacing and the scoring that he could provide. I still believe in the talent that exists here. And it was just a weird start to his career. Maybe a bit of a refresher, going somewhere new will allow Malik Monk to kind of fully unlock those abilities he came into the league with. I was so excited about him when he came into the league, and I'm just still holding out hope that we get to see at least a really good bench version of Malik Monk as a scorer, as a shooter. I think the talent's all there. I kind of compared him to like a J.R. Smith level player when he came into the league, and I'm hoping we get to see that, and being able to see that with the Lakers and with the everything that's going to be on the line for them this season under high stakes, I think would be super, super fun. Next up is a player that I know has been on one of these lists before for me. Maybe it was a couple years ago at this point, and it's Rui Hachimura of the Washington Wizards. I don't know anymore what it is about Rui that just I can't quit on. Something just connects me to this guy when I watch him play basketball, where it's just like, there's no way he's bad. Like, he might not be an above average starter in the NBA, but there's no way he's a bad NBA player. He's too solid. He's got too many skills. He's too big. He's too like square in everything that he does. You know what I mean? He's always on balance. He's never out of control. He's doing stuff at his own pace. And we've seen guys throughout the years in the NBA, guys like Danilo Gallinari that play exactly like that, have really long and successful NBA careers. And for Hachimura, the thing that's continually held him back is it goes back to what's kind of like an older NBA idea, but it exists for him, and that is him being like a tweener, not really knowing what position to play him at. Is he a 3? Is he a 4? Is he more than that? And that just speaks to, can you be a consistent outside shooter? And to this point, he has not proven to be like a 40% three-point shooter, which is kind of what he needs to be if he's going to be providing a ton of value, because he's not going to have the ball in his hands a ton. But I can't quit. I don't know if it's Chauncey Billups comparing him to Kawhi Leonard on draft night. I don't know what it is about Rui Hachimura, but when I see a guy that is in control, talented, skilled, has great size, has some good physical traits as well, I just can't think that he's gonna be bad. Again, I'm not projecting that this guy is gonna suddenly start, making all-star teams or anything, but I would be shocked if he doesn't have a long and productive NBA career. Hopefully he proves me right this season, because I'm running out of chances to not give up on Rui Hachimura. Next up on the list, Wendell Carter Jr., now of the Orlando Magic, formerly of the Chicago Bulls. At the time that he was drafted, I said that I liked him more than Marvin Bagley as an NBA player. And that's technically, I feel like, been correct, but that's just because of how bad Bagley has been in the NBA. And the reasoning for that at the time, coming into the draft, was Bagley's inability to defend at the 5 was one of the main reasons that Duke had to play a zone that entire season, basically, and they really struggled to defend because they couldn't figure out how to guard. But Carter had a really good ability to, when they did play man, switch, guard ball screens really well. I thought the defensive versatility was all there, and offensively, in a similar way to Hachimura, I just thought he would figure it out. I thought he'd find enough things to do offensively. He's a good enough athlete to finish at the rim. I think people thought that he was a bad athlete in college because he played alongside Marvin Bagley, who was crazy athletic at like 7'1". I just thought he was going to be a solid player. I thought his ceiling was someone like Al Horford, and his floor was pretty high. It's just like a really good, below average starting 5-man in the NBA. And he's got a new opportunity now in Orlando amongst a handful of different bigs. to kind of figure it out. And I feel like if he's going to figure it out, it's going to be on that team because he's going to have opportunities. They're not going to be in a hurry to win games, and they're going to get him out there and develop him. And the biggest issue for him really is just staying on the floor. He's had so many injury issues just kind of nagging him through the first couple years in the NBA. If he can have a fully healthy season, I fully expect him to be a nice piece moving forward there in Orlando. And I'm hoping it happens because, again, I just can't give up on the guy. Next up, another big guy. And it's Lauri Markkanen. And this might seem weird because he just signed a significant contract in Cleveland. But I'm talking about like Lauri Markkanen as like an 18-point per game scorer on pretty efficient shooting and can score from the outside. He's always going to have issues defensively because he can't guard threes, he can't guard fours, he can't guard fives, he can't guard anybody. That's always going to be an issue for him. But offensively, the skill set that he possesses at his size has value. There's a reason that Cleveland re-signed Jared Allen, drafted Evan Mobley, and went out and got Lauri Markkanen. It's because he has value in addition to those guys' skill sets, but also just as an individual. He is a very talented basketball player, and I could see him being a really, really good six-man throughout his career. Someone that can come in and space the floor, shoot the ball extremely well. He's got a little bit of game off the bounce as well if you attack him too hard in closeouts. And whether it be in Cleveland or on a different team, I fully expect him to be like an 18, 19-point per game guy at some point down the line in his career. I think he's a really, really interesting kind of buy low candidate right now for Cleveland to go out and get him on a contract that's really not that prohibitive and give him an opportunity to grow other parts of his game than just scoring, become a more well-rounded NBA player. And I still can't give up on him. Next up, mentioned this guy a little bit earlier. It's Marvin Bagley. I'm making a video for this of players that I have completely given up on. And I honestly went back and forth. I'm like, have I given up on Marvin Bagley? Have I not? I still believe, and I think the main reason for that is because of the situation that he's been put in Sacramento. And when they drafted him ahead of Luka, ahead of Trey, it almost immediately seemed like a bad idea, not just because I thought Luka was the best player in the class, but because reportedly their plan was to play this guy at the four and try and play him and another big guy at the same time. And I couldn't understand that. When you see the skill set that he brings to the floor and his limitations defensively in college, I don't see how you could have looked at those things and been a professional basketball team evaluating college talent and thought, you know what, this guy needs to guard perimeter players, because that's what fours are now. He's not going to be able to go out there and guard guys playing on the perimeter. What he needs to have done over the last couple of seasons is play the five every minute that he's on the floor so that he can continue to learn how to guard ball screens, how to protect the rim, how to be a full-time five, because that's something that he hasn't really done throughout his career. And then you have an incredible offensive talent on the level of someone like James Wiseman, who can attack the rim, who works on his perimeter jump shot, who has crazy size and athleticism, and can use those things, pick and pop scenarios, pick and roll scenarios, and then has also learned how to guard at the five spot. Whether it's in Sacramento or elsewhere, if someone invests in Marvin Bagley as a full-time five man, I think he's a really good NBA player. But if you're going to continue to try and play him at the four, it's going to be like playing Aaron Gordon at the three and at the two in Orlando. It's not going to go well. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I don't know if it's ever going to turn around for him, but he certainly has had his fair share of issues staying on the floor, not developing his game properly. But I also put a good amount of the blame on Sacramento, and whether they figure it out with this coaching staff or with another one, or if another team figures it out, I'm still holding out hope for Marvin Bagley. Second to last now on the list, Anfernee Simons of the Portland Trailblazers. This is just a talent thing for me. I know that maybe he's only really shown himself to be a really good shooter, and that's it. But the athleticism this guy has, the quickness, the speed, the acceleration, I think that it's all there for him to be a really good six-man throughout his NBA career, and that hasn't been what he's been to this point. He's been kind of an interesting role player type guy, but I think he's got all the talent in the world, took a non-traditional path to get to the NBA, where he went from high school to the post-grad year at IMG and then was drafted by Portland with the 20th pick. There's not really any kind of like super in-depth analysis here with Simons. Just when I watch him play, I think, man, that's a talented guy. He's got decent size. He's got all these really great physical tools. He's really worked on his jump shot. I feel like worst case, he's got to be someone like Jordan Clarkson, right, throughout the rest of his career. So I still can't give up on him as one of the kind of more raw prospects in the draft class that he was picked in at 20th overall. I'm still in on Simons. And then last up, Luke Kennard. It was a very, very weird first year in LA for Luke Kennard. He went from first couple years in the league, not so great, had a nice season in Detroit, then had some injury issues, then gets traded. And I'm thinking, okay, Luke Kennard has grown to this point in his career where he's not just a spot-up guy. He can create for you a little bit in ball screens. He's a very interesting player. And then he gets to LA and he barely plays. Like, he's just non-existent. He has some moments in the postseason, but it's clear that a team that is trying to, win a title or trying to really compete for the conference finals doesn't trust him to be on the floor, one, to guard, but two, just in general. I feel like he showed enough, though, offensively in flashes to earn more minutes in the regular season, especially for a Clippers team that is going to need offense with Kawhi Leonard out during the regular season. I still think Luke Kennard can be a productive winning basketball player. He's never going to be an A-plus defender, but what he can do offensively, I think, is enough to keep him as like a really strong six-man type player. And again, just can't give up on him. I'm interested to see down in the comment section below what players you guys have on your list that you still just continually can't give up on, because I can absolutely relate, as you can tell by this list. But that is going to be the end of today's video, and I thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, be sure to check out the boxes on screen, like the video if you enjoyed this one, and check out my socials at the top of the screen as well. With all those things said, hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.